Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. If you're watching us live on Facebook, thanks for that. If you're checking the show out later, please remember we do upload them to www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. You can find audio and video versions there to view whenever you'd like. If you can't check these out in the morning or you want to catch them later in the day, we do at least put the audio version up immediately. It takes a little while to process the video. Sometimes it's within about a 30-minute window. Sometimes it could be later if I have to go cover something in the morning. So please check those out. We do appreciate it. Your traffic this morning, pretty slow. Not a whole lot going on. Some minor delays at some key intersections as folks, hopefully essential folks, are going to work. I can't really tell you if they're essential or not, but there are folks heading to work as we get started with this hump day morning. It's currently 69 degrees. 86 degrees is going to be your high today. Going to be a warm one, getting some early summer stuff here. 63 degrees, your overnight low. You're looking at clouds this morning. If you've been out this morning, you can see it's not dreary. It's just overcast. It will get sunnier as the day goes along, so please keep that in mind. Please remember that the state is only updating coronavirus numbers once a day now, around noon. Also, please try to keep these numbers in perspective. Of course, these are only people who have gone and gotten tested. They're not doing widespread testing at the moment for anybody that's asymptomatic. They're only asking those who are symptomatic to get tested. It's also important to remember that this virus has about a 2-week incubation period, that'd be the coronavirus, and that it can be carried without symptoms and passed on without symptoms. It also, as soon as it starts manifesting yourself, you're looking at about an 8-day period before you become I'm gonna blank here, and I'm sorry about that. Until you become non-infectious, I guess you can say, passing it along. So about an 8-day period after your first signs show. So again, 1,388 cases in Louisiana. 6 have been confirmed in LP residents. That doesn't even necessarily mean they're here. The first case, of course, was someone who got tested in New Orleans. We don't even know if they came home or not. It does take a while to get these results. It takes 4 to 5 days so far, according to some officials, is sort of your average. That's why there was a lot of testing going on last week, and the numbers continue to jump as we go through it this week. 46 deaths so far in Louisiana as a direct result of the coronavirus. 43 out of 64 parishes are currently reporting a case. However, the governor did want to remind folks it's probably in every parish. It's very virulent, very easy to pass. And, want to go ahead and talk about that. Okay, testing is nearly up to about 6,000 people with about 1,400 positive cases. That's a good sign. You're starting to see a lot more people get tested who are testing negative. It was at first a very high percentage of positive cases versus total number of cases that were being processed. There it is. There's the word. Having trouble with words this morning. I do apologize for that. At any rate, you're looking at a higher growth in cases with it's still a high growth rate. Do not want to discredit or downplay that. The growth rate of cases is still high, but it is good to see the number of cases rising, but the positive cases that go along with that not rising as quickly. However, Louisiana is third per capita in the country, behind Washington State and New York, 4 cases. And part of that, wanting to jump into that, one of the things that the governor said at his press conference yesterday is that his theory is that a lot of this was passed around at Mardi Gras. So the whole idea is there are a lot of people on social media who are saying, well, I had a fever and flu-like symptoms and pneumonia, and I tested negative for the flu before all this happened. And one of the things that officials are kind of saying at the moment, as the governor said yesterday, he's not an epidemiologist, which is somebody who studies virulent diseases. But one of the things that he did say was that his theory is that some people had it, but it did not really start getting spread until the huge gathering that is Mardi Gras down in New Orleans. Of course, that's a big reason why a lot of these cases are popping up in Jefferson and Orleans Parish. Of course, that's where a lot of the testing is going on as well. So one of the things that he said was that he believed that it did, in fact, start spreading rapidly from that Mardi Gras beginning. He did say that the first case was 13 days after Fat Tuesday. And of course, as we mentioned, you're looking at a roughly 2-week incubation period for coronavirus that's causing the COVID-19 disease. So timeline kind of shapes up there. Of course, nobody here is an epidemiologist. Somebody in the future may study this, as the governor said, to get a doctorate, and he or she may say, well, it actually started this way. But for right now, it looks like a lot of people are drawing it back to Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras was rough this year. Now that's my opinion, but it was rough this year. Didn't go the way I think a lot of people had hoped. Yesterday, the governor, or actually Monday evening, excuse me, the governor requested a major disaster declaration from President Donald Trump. What this would do was up the ante. Currently, we have a declared disaster, but a major disaster declaration sort of puts you at the top of the queue, I guess you can say. The president has only approved 4 of these, Louisiana being the 4th, Washington State, California, and New York, which all have the highest caseloads, were the first 3 states to get a major disaster declaration. So what this means, again, it puts you towards the top of the queue, opens a lot of access to funding. Right now, the state has spent roughly $71 million fighting the coronavirus. They'll be looking to try to get reimbursed for that through this major disaster declaration. They're also going to be looking for personal protective equipment, ventilators, trying to help with hospital staffing, that sort of thing. So far, the state has spent hundreds of thousands of pieces of personal protective equipment. They're looking for more. They're going to be going through a lot of those over the coming months. And so they are requesting the federal government, which was approved last night. Late last night, Donald Trump approved the major disaster declaration. So that's going to open the door for more equipment, more funding. As the governor did say yesterday, someone asked him at the press conference what was his belief about what President Donald Trump was pushing, which was saying that everybody needed to get back to work, hopefully right after Easter. One of the things that the governor said, which is relatively true, is, as you heard, only 4 states have had a major disaster declaration so far. Some states are worse than others. So he said, we'd love for everybody to go back to work as soon as possible, but that's going to be determined on a state-by-state case basis. So, that it's going to depend on how the cases are going and how rapidly they are increasing. One of the issues, as part of that major disaster declaration, one of the things that Governor John Bel Edwards brought to light was that the cases in Louisiana are now growing faster than they were in Italy. Of course, the issue in Italy was that there are 60 million people, and the cases started to spread so quickly, and people started having to be hospitalized that they overwhelmed the hospitals. They didn't have enough time for surge protection, which means being able to expand intensive care unit operations to other places and that sort of thing. So eventually they had to start making decisions on who would receive the necessary care and who wouldn't. Of course, some people have seen those pictures and videos of military vehicles with dead bodies in them. We're trying not to get there in Louisiana. Of course, that's one of the reasons for the major disaster declaration, looking for the ability to rapidly expand capacity for the healthcare system so that it does not collapse like Italy, and that we have to start making those choices. Nobody wants to make those choices. We want to be able to help people and serve people who want to come into the hospitals or who need to come into the hospitals because of the coronavirus. Again, Louisiana has 4.6 million people with a healthcare system to match that population, whereas Italy had a 60 million population with a healthcare system to match that. So it is a little scary when you match those numbers up, which is why the governor is trying everything he can to get supplies, resources, and that sort of thing into Louisiana. The other thing the governor asked yesterday is for people to be a good neighbor. Go donate blood. Donate to your local food bank. This includes $1. $1 can serve up to 4 meals for certain families. And fill out your census. So remember those 3 things. If you have a chance, go donate some blood. Most of the blood donation centers are hospital, or don't go into a hospital. I wouldn't recommend that. And that's my opinion. But try to find a blood donation center. They're keeping those places sanitized. Go donate blood while maintaining social distancing, donate to your local food bank and fill out your census at 2020census.gov. You can fill it out online. It's quick, it's easy, it doesn't take long. That information is very important, especially for Livingston Parish. If you're looking at population figures, income figures, that sort of thing, it makes it a lot easier for our local officials to apply for grants and also be successful in getting those grants. Also, if we can continue to fill out our census and maybe show the folks over at the Capitol just how much population is growing, might be able to, I guess you can say, secure more funding for infrastructure. So please remember that your census is very important. It is very important that you fill it out, especially for Livingston Parish and our ability to acquire money. I also want to go back real quick. Well, let's go into this because they go together. Yesterday, the schools in Livingston Parish released a lot of information on their Facebook and social media pages about SNAP benefits and expanded SNAP benefits. Because of the stay-at-home order that was issued by Governor John Bel Edwards on Sunday, the school campuses were officially closed. That also meant that the meal lines were closed. So the central office at the school system decided they would take it upon themselves to release this information to try to help those folks who were in meal lines. 14,000 meals were served last Wednesday. So they knew that there was a need there. At the governor's sort of healthcare town hall Monday night, the secretary of the Department of Child and Family Services said that SNAP benefits had been extended. They were not disaster SNAP benefits, but the ability to approve people had been expanded. So especially for people that have had a disruption in income due to the stay-at-home order, due to the novel coronavirus. And so they recommended folks give them a call if you feel like you might be eligible for those, especially if you've been furloughed, laid off, reduced hours, those kinds of things, and you need to feed your family. Of course, it is discreet. You can find them. Go Google Department of Child and Family Services. One more time. Google Department of Child and Family Services, Louisiana. They have a website you can apply through. They also have an 800 number that is toll free. You can also find that on our website. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because we want to continue to talk about the stay-at-home order and mitigation. Mitigation includes, staying at home, especially if you're sick. Try to utilize telehealth, which means, a FaceTime or a phone call to your doctor. No gatherings of 10 or more within the home, 50 or less in public places, and they're asking with the stay-at-home that you don't gather at all in public places. Wash hands for 20 seconds. Sneeze or cough into your elbow or a tissue, and disinfect common surfaces within the home. Of course, the whole stay-at-home purpose is to try to keep people, non-essential personnel, from going to work. You can see a list of essential services, which is mostly essential utilities, on our website, www.livingstonparishnnews.com/coronavirus. There are a lot of people who are, solo acts, independent contractors, those sorts of things, that are trying to keep working during this time. But remember that if you're going to work or going somewhere, please remember that the growth rate that is exponential from you is also exponential back at you. And here's what I mean. When a virus grows exponentially, perhaps you bring it into a scenario where you give to 3 people and each of them gives it to 3 people, that sort of thing. That's called that exponential growth curve. Well, when you're looking at it from the right side, where it's already exponentially grown, I guess you can say, or the network that you have, it's very easy for it to find its way back to you. So what that means is that, let's say that you go to work and you're around those 3 people, and each one of them has been around those 3 other people, and each one of them has been, and you see how it grows. All it takes is one person out of the 1,000 you get to 3 or 4 tiers later to find its way back to you. So remember that when you are interacting with folks, if you do have to go to work because your employer is requiring it, or you're an essential service, please remember, disinfect common surfaces, wear gloves, try to wear a mask. You never know where your coworkers or where potential clients or those sorts of people have been. And I know it sounds strange, that we used to describe that as like food or that kind of thing. But in this case, you just never know what. And in a lot of cases, they may not be doing it willingly. They may not have known where their husband had been that day. He may be a contractor that's been on 3 sites, and 2 of them he didn't talk to a soul, and 1 of them he talked to 4 other contractors. You just never know what could happen. So please practice social distancing. If you have to go to the grocery store, which is allowed during the stay-at-home order, or the pharmacy or the doctor, stay 6 feet away from folks. Please remember to cough or sneeze into your elbow. And also please remember, wear gloves and a mask if you're going into public places. I know that seems extreme, but you just never know. You never know where these other people have been. For those SNAP benefits, going to jump back over to that. 71,000 have currently filed for unemployment. So the expanded SNAP, they understand the need. You need valid contact info, a state-issued ID, social security number, and an income and expense report. So that you can qualify for those benefits. Now, please remember, if you're filling it out online, please give them a valid email and a valid phone number, because they will reach out to you, because a lot of times there are follow-up questions as part of the interview. There is a burn ban currently going on statewide in Louisiana due to the novel coronavirus. A lot of first responders are dealing with other things. They're also trying to practice social distancing. So please, please, please remember, do not... there's currently a burn ban. If you're going to privately burn, you have to get permission from your local fire department. And currently it looks like they're not going to allow that, but I don't know. You have to, that's part of the rules. Got to talk to your local fire department. Mighty Moms has expanded their give and take barrels as part of the whole social distancing thing. They cannot bring a lot of meals directly to these families. So they are asking folks to use their give and take barrels, which have now been expanded to 24 locations. You can find those locations on our website, www.livingstonparishnewscom/coronavirus. There is a story there about Mighty Moms, and it lists all 24 businesses that have a give and take barrel. The way this works is that if you need something, you can discreetly walk up and see if they have it, take it out. Please ask that you disinfect whatever you take out. And if you want to give, you can go to the barrels and drop in, pillows, blankets, non-perishable food, that kind of thing. So again, Mighty Moms has expanded their give and take barrel locations. We are now kind of getting into the point where we've got an idea of how things are going to work, at least until April 12th for, the next roughly 3 weeks, about 19 days. We are asking folks to give us not a call, because we've closed our offices. Obviously, I'm at home. Send me an email, message us on Facebook. My email is mchugh@lpn1898.com. If you have a business that's open, please let us know who you are, what your business is, what you do, what your hours are, how to get in contact with you, and a logo. We're going to be releasing some graphics today to try to gather this information. This doesn't just have to be restaurants. This can be any business that is still open. We're trying to get the word out there about what folks are doing, what can still be done here during the stay-at-home order. So remember, you can email me, you can message us on Facebook with that information. If you know of a business that is open, that is trying to keep the doors open, trying to keep work going, have them contact us. We would just like to keep this keep an idea of who's open, who's operating, and where, and restaurants too, where you can go get some food, that sort of thing. So please, if you have any information regarding that, reach out to us. Finally, want to remind folks about the seniors this year. They've been through a lot. They're now going through some more. Kids trying to deal with the fact that I'm not sure when graduation is going to happen, not sure if they're going to have prom. Right now, schools are set to go back on April 20th here in Livingston Parish. We'll see if that remains in effect. But as of right now, those high school seniors started their careers with the flood, and right here capping it off with the coronavirus. So please, if you know a senior, send them some love. They've been through a lot. Going back around at it, minor delays in the traffic, not too bad today. Some minor delays here and there. Hopefully those are essential personnel going to work. It's currently 69 degrees, 86 degrees is your high, 63 degrees your overnight low, you're looking at some overcast clouds this morning that's going to move into sun. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show, stay-at-home edition. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. We are on online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. Of course, we mentioned the URL earlier. All of our coronavirus information is free. We're pushing that out free to the public. We also have an app to go with that. Please, hope you have a great day. Please stay safe. For those who have lost their jobs, we are thinking about you. For those who are working from home, especially if you have family and little ones, we're thinking about you as well. We know this is a disturbing time for many. It's a tough time, but remember what Coach Ed Ogeron said: we're all in this together. Stick with the game plan, and we're going to make it work. One last time, McHugh David signing off today. We will see you tomorrow morning.